Hey guys, HDvee here and welcome to a brand new video. Today we've got a ton of updates to go over for Pokemon Scarlet and Violet and the DLC. We have some Nintendo Switch 2 details to go over. There's a lot of stuff to break down and get into today. So if you're excited for the video, as always, make sure to drop a like down below. Let's try and hit 500 likes. It does really help out. Leave a comment with your thoughts on anything we cover in today's video. Subscribe if you're brand new for daily Pokemon content. Ring the notification bell. With all of that out of the way though, let's get into the video and I really hope that you enjoy. So, starting things off, 2 new events just got announced this morning or last night, depending on your time zone, all to do with Eevee. So I'm very happy about these events. Some really good ones as well. So we have Cerebi here tweeting out saying, Cerebi update, the next Pokemon Scarlet and Violet mass outbreak event has been announced. It focuses on Eevee, which I don't think can usually get outbreaks. I'm not 100% sure off the top of my head, which obviously kind of paves the way open for other potential Pokemon that don't get outbreaks, like Spiritomb doesn't get an outbreak, so maybe they could do an event with Spiritomb outbreak later on down the line. I mean, they should have done that with Halloween, but you know what I mean. But either way, it runs from the 17th of November through to the 20th of November, so of course this weekend. And there are a ton of marks that you can get with this Pokemon event. So I mean, there's literally Eevee events happening in like every game right now with like Cafe Mix and everything like that. But either way, this is a little bit more information about this Eevee outbreak. So next mass outbreak event has been announced, yada yada yada. It will feature Eevee in both Paldea and Kitakami, but they are different outbreaks. So with a chance of getting the Jittery mark, Intense mark, the Intellectual mark, or the Flustered mark in Paldea. So it's basically like it usually has been with the Clefairy event and the Halloween event, where you'll update your game. Well, you won't update your game. You'll connect to the internet, and then you'll start getting those outbreaks with like the sparkle on them, which means it's part of the outbreak event. And then you'll have a 1 in 20 chance of getting that mark. But usually it's just been like 1 mark that we were able to get. But now it's been split up into 8 different marks. So if you're in Paldea, you'll be able to get these ones. So the Jittery, Intense, Intellectual, and Flustered mark. I'm assuming that's a 1 in 20. I don't know if these are new marks or not. I can't remember all the marks off the top of my head. But you will have to be in Paldea to get those ones. You will not be able to get those from Eevee outbreaks in Kitakami. As well as that, it's not like one outbreak will have all of those 4 different marks. One outbreak will have like the Jittery mark, and then if you get like an Eevee with the Jittery mark, you will not be able to get like an Eevee with the Intense mark or the Flustered mark or anything like that from that same outbreak. You'll have to find a different outbreak, catch the Eevee until you find out what mark it's got, and then like I say, if it's got a mark which is obviously the same as one you've already got, you'll have to find a different outbreak. So anyway, those are the ones in Paldea. And then in Kitakami, you can get the Rowdy mark, the Excited mark, the Calmness mark, or the Unsure mark. And again, they are not part of the same outbreak. You'll have to find 4 different individual outbreaks with those marks. And you won't know what mark the outbreak has until you catch at least a regular one. So yeah, and I'm assuming it's going to be a 1 in 20. And yeah, the event will run from the 17th through to the 20th of November. So it is a really good kind of like event. And especially because Eevee's obviously a great Pokemon, people love it. But yeah, the only issue is it's going to be trial and error, where you're going to have to keep catching the Pokemon until you find that mark. So you could be catching Eevee for ages and not know what that mark is. And then after like 20 minutes of catching him, you then find out that it's a mark that you've already got, which would be really annoying. But either way, that's the massive mass outbreak starting this weekend. But then we also have another Eevee event as well. It is a 7-star Tera raid battle. Just like Pikachu got one, Eevee is also getting one now. So Cerebi here tweeting out saying, Cerebi update, the next 7-star Tera raid battle has been fully revealed. Battle against the normal Tera type Eevee. This also runs from the 17th of November through to the 20th of November. I can't see this being that difficult at all, because Eevee doesn't necessarily get the greatest move pool. Obviously, it's going to get normal type moves, but apart from that, there's not really a lot that it does learn. So even though it is going to be a 7-star raid, I don't think it's going to be crazy. Like the item as well, like Pokemon Cast here says, it's got to be an Eevee-like, surely, just to make it a little bit more bulky. But yeah, that is also starting this weekend as well. So loads and loads of Eevee outbreak events and 7-star Tera raid events happening this weekend, which is great. And this is the reasoning behind it as well. So Joe Merrick here tweeting out saying, seen a lot of people ask why are they wasting time with Eevee with the events in Pokemon Scarlet and Violet. Here's why. November the 21st is Eevee Day and has been for years. Each game is celebrating. So Scarlet and Violet obviously has those events. With Masters, we're having Penny and More, who of course is the Evolution Trainer. In Pokemon Sleep, it is Eevee Week. And then in Cafe Remix, it's also an Eevee event. It happens yearly. Like last year, we also had an Eevee raid event around then, just a week later to avoid Scarlet and Violet launch weekend. So yeah, if you remember back to when we got Scarlet and Violet, this obviously, this event happened pretty early on, which is really cool. And yeah, I like it. I mean, it's a cool event. Like, it gives you a chance to get like loads of different Eevees with different marks and stuff, and obviously you can evolve them into any evolution with any mark and whatnot. So definitely worth doing, in my opinion, if you're a fan of Eevee. So that's all of that. Moving on, we also have this from Light here, a little bit of a theory, saying, as you might know, we encountered Deoxys in Auras, Keldeo in Sword and Shield DLC, and Arceus in Pokemon Legends Arceus, but which mythical will appear in Pokemon Scarlet and Violet? So I mean, we have been able to catch mythicals from recent Pokemon games, which I've been quite a big fan of. And in Scarlet and Violet, when the Teal Mask came out, we were able to drop a few mythical Pokemon into the game through Pokemon Home, such as Fion, Manaphy, Darkrai, I think Jirachi maybe as well. There's a few mythicals that we could drop. Yeah, so there's probably going to be more when the Indigo Disk drops, but hopefully there's also going to be one that we can catch, most likely to do with like a side quest. We know there's a lot of side quests in the Indigo Disk DLC, just from what the data mines have said, what Nintendo have tweeted out. But we have Light here saying Blueberry Academy is in Unova, so it would be amazing that we'll get a Victini, as happened in Black and White, in the Liberty Island. I think it's most likely to either be Victini or Meloetta, because I think it has to be a Gen 5 mythical, just simply because if we are getting Gen 5 remakes next year, or whatever Gen 5 game it's going to be, it'd be a nice kind of like foreshadow of that. Even though we got Keldeo in Gen 8, you know what I mean? Also, Lacey does this sign with her hands in V several times in the DLC trailers. Could this mean something? So yeah, that could obviously be V for like Victini. It'd make more sense if it was, what's his name? Crisp, Chip, whatever, the red-haired fire dude from Blueberry Academy, because obviously that's a fire type. But either way, yeah, it could very well be a Gen 5 mythical that we might be catching in the Indigo Disk that is a side quest. So that's that. And then moving on, we also have some Nintendo Switch 2 updates to go over. We have Stealth here tweeting out saying Nintendo reiterated that the Nintendo account will be used to tie a user's purchase history and game activity across platform generations. So they didn't specifically mention the Switch successor, but I think we can have confidence at least in digitally backwards compatibility, which is going to be absolutely massive, because backwards compatibility is something we want on the Switch 2. It's something we definitely expect. Like, a lot of the previous Nintendo consoles have had backwards compatibility. The Wii had backwards compatibility with the GameCube games. The 3DS had it. The DS had it. The Game Boy Advance had it. Like, they've all had backwards compatibility. The Switch didn't, which wasn't ideal, but I guess that was a completely different thing, so they maybe would have found it a bit difficult, because obviously you can't have, like, I don't really know, but either way, it looks like we're at least getting digital backwards compatibility. It better have physical as well, because there's not a lot of digital games I buy. Like, it's very much looking like likely that we're going to have two different consoles on the launch of this, which one is going to be like a physical edition and one's going to be a digital edition, just like the Xbox and the PlayStation have done. And if the physical one didn't have backwards compatibility, it would be really, really bad. So yeah, hopefully we do get that down the line. And then finishing things off, we have a little bit more from Nintendo Everything here, saying Nintendo says it will continue releasing Switch games without being bound by the traditional concept of the platform lifecycle. So this is what they tweeted out, saying future outlook, Nintendo Switch will enter its 8th year, new titles will continue to be released, maintain and expand user engagement with Nintendo Switch, maintaining business momentum. So if we go to the actual page here, on Nintendo Everything, says even though Switch is coming up on its 7th anniversary in March and entering its 8th year on the market, Nintendo won't be abandoning the system anytime soon. During its financial results briefing today, the company said it will continue to release new titles and content for Nintendo Switch without being bound by the traditional concept of the platform lifecycle. The company highlighted titles that are on the way from both a first-party and third-party perspective. So Nintendo themselves said, Nintendo Switch will be entering its 8th year in March 2024. We will continue to release new titles and content for the Nintendo Switch without being bound by the traditional concept of the platform lifecycle. Going forward, we would like to continue to see many consumers play Nintendo Switch and to maintain our business momentum. So rumors have started to emerge this year regarding its successor to the Switch. However, Nintendo president Furukawa said today that some of the reports have been inaccurate. The company will release a new piece of hardware at some point, but even when it happens, Switch will likely continue receiving some support. So that's all the latest updates for all the latest Pokemon events, and also all the latest Switch 2 details as well. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, please do consider hitting the like button down below. Let's try and hit 500 likes. Leave a comment. What are your thoughts about the Eevee events? Are you happy about them? Are you disliking them? Again, we probably will get the Hisuian Samurott 7-star raid maybe after this. I don't know, maybe like 1 or 2 weeks down the line. But what are your thoughts on that? What are your thoughts on the Switch 2 stuff? But yeah, thank you for watching. Subscribe if you're brand new. Ring the notification bell for daily Pokemon content. Have a great rest of your day. And until next time, peace.